cannons fell silent 3 years ago, but the smell of gunpowder, people say, still lingers in the old red brick walls. You are standing here in the heart of Hanoi, 1885, and this city looks like nothing you have ever seen. Not the modern Hanoi of motorbikes and high-rises, not the peaceful city of old paintings. This is Hanoi at the most dramatic turning point in its history. A 1,000-year-old city struggling to breathe under the shadow of a foreign empire. Who is ruling this land? Do French words or Vietnamese words ring louder on these streets? And the people, the merchants, the craftsmen, the mothers carrying goods across the bridge, what are they thinking, fearing, hoping? Artificial intelligence has rebuilt Hanoi in 1885 from colonial maps, French military records, eyewitness accounts, and hundreds of historical documents. This is a journey that was impossible until now. Step inside. Before we walk the streets, let us look down from above. Hanoi in 1885 sits along the southern bank of the Red River, the Fleuve Rouge, as the French call it. The city is divided into 3 distinct zones, and that division tells you everything about this era. To the west lies the old Imperial Citadel, its high brick walls still standing, but the interior now being transformed into French military barracks. Since 1883, French officers have been quartered inside the great Hoan Kiem Palace itself. From 1885, the demolition of the old Mandarin residences has begun. One empire is erasing the traces of another. To the east, along the riverbank, lies the Concession Quarter, France's foothold since 1874. Here, soldiers and colonial officials have established their base, and wide boulevards are being laid out in the Parisian style. And in the middle, the true soul of the city is the Old Quarter. 36 guild streets of narrow tube houses, moss-covered roof tiles, and vendors calling out from dawn until dark. This is Khe Chur, the old Vietnamese name for the capital, meaning the marketplace, where Vietnamese people still live, trade, worship, and remember. And at the center of it all, like a mirror holding memory, lies Hoan Kiem Lake. Today we walk from the flag tower east through the Crumbling Citadel, then out to Hoan Kiem Lake, into the Old Quarter, and down to the Red River, where 2 worlds collide. We begin here, at the base of the flag tower. 3 stepped platforms of red brick rise and narrow like a truncated pyramid. Above them, an octagonal column soars, 33 meters tall, 44 meters if you count the flagpole. Built between 1805 and 1812 under Emperor Jia Long, this is the most intact structure remaining in the entire citadel complex. But the flag flying at the summit in 1885 is no longer the Nguyen dynasty's flag. Since April 25, 1882, when French gunboats opened fire on the north and east gates at 8:15 in the morning, and by 11 o'clock French troops had stormed the walls, the flag tower has served as a French military signal station. The summit, once the place of the imperial standard, now bristles with French observation posts. The eastern gate of the second level is carved with the words Nheng Hook, welcoming the morning light. The men who built this tower wanted to catch the dawn. The soldiers standing guard up there now are looking toward a very different horizon. At the tower's base, grass grows untended around empty courtyards. 30 years from now, the French will build a military history museum beside it. More than a century after that, in 1989, the flag tower will be declared a National Historical Monument. And on October 10, 1954, a red flag with a golden star will be raised on this tower for the first time, to the roar of tens of thousands of Hanoians who have been waiting since before dawn. We move north into the citadel. The walls still stand, layers of brick built and rebuilt since the 11th century. But inside, everything is changing with the speed of conquest. Kin Thien Palace, where emperors once held court, by 1883 already had its beautifully carved pillars bricked over with walls punched through with gun slits to defend against Black Flag attacks. By 1884, troop barracks had sprouted throughout the courtyards. From 1885, the dismantling of the old Mandarin residences, the Governor's Hall, the Commander's Hall, was underway piece by piece. The sound of hammers on brick echoes every morning across the citadel in 1885. The labourers, most of them Vietnamese, hired through Chinese contractors, work in silence. They can likely recognise these bricks, fired in the Li dynasty, the Tran dynasty. They can likely trace the carvings on the stone pillars, but they need the wages to feed their families through the dry season. French officials who visited during this period, including later Governor-General de Lanessan, left written accounts lamenting the destruction they witnessed. Governor-General Paul Doumer would later write, "I arrived too late to save the most remarkable parts, particularly the city gates. Those monuments should have been preserved." Today, Kin Thien Palace survives only in its dragonstone staircase, 4 15th century stone dragons at the base of what was once the throne room steps, looking out across empty courtyards. Silent witnesses to a slow erasure. We come to the North Gate, the only surviving gate of the old Hanoi Citadel. In 1885, the North Gate is one of the most emotionally weighted places in the city. On the morning of April 25, 1882, French gunboats concentrated fire here. The cannonball scars are still raw in the brick, not filled in, not painted over. Perhaps no one dares come close enough to touch them. Above the gate, French soldiers stand watch. Below, life continues. Porters and traders pass through the gate each morning, heads lowered to avoid the soldiers' eyes, then continuing on their way. Governor-General Hoan Kiem, who led the city's defense in 1882, chose to take his own life rather than surrender when French troops breached the walls. Historical records of the period note that he left a final letter to the Imperial Court in Hue. "The citadel has fallen. I die with the citadel. My loyalty is complete." In 1885, Hanoians still whisper his name. The North Gate stands today as the sole surviving remnant of old Hanoi's walls. The 1882 cannonball scars are still visible in the brick. We walk east, out of the citadel grounds, toward the lake. Hoan Kiem Lake in 1885, or Ho Guom, the Sword Lake, as people call it, lies quieter than usual. After the French took the citadel in 1883, many residents of the surrounding neighborhood scattered. Houses near the lake stand empty, weeds growing to the doorstep. The lake's surface, roughly 12 hectares, mirrors an autumn Hanoi sky, pale grey with low clouds. The old trees stand motionless around the shore. Nok Son Temple on its island is intact, restored by the scholar-patriot Nguyen Van Sieu in 1864. The Hook Bridge arches out to the island. The brush tower stands beside the eastern shore. And at the southern end of the lake, on a small islet rising from the water, there is a construction site. This will become Turtle Tower, but in 1885 it has no name yet. Since mid-1884, Ba Ho Kim, Nguyen Nok Kim, the man serving as intermediary between the French colonial authorities and the Vietnamese population, has been building a 3-story tower on Turtle Islet. The scaffolding is still up. Masons are still at work. The tower will be completed in April 1886. Hanoians watch that construction from the shore in silence. They know this islet is sacred ground, from the time of King Le Tan Tong, who fished here in the royal pavilion, from the time of Lord Trin, who built a pleasure pavilion upon it. A man who collaborates with the French is building a tower there, but no one can stop it. Only the masons, according to a story passed down in whispers to this day, did something quietly one night before the tower was finished. Hoan Kiem Lake today is the heart of Hanoi. Turtle Tower stands reflected in the water every morning, a symbol transcending time, though its origin is a complicated and painful story. We turn away from the lake and step into the old quarter. This is where Hanoi is still truly alive. The narrow lanes, barely wide enough for 2 basket carriers to pass, run according to their craft. Hang Bak, Silver Street. Hang Dong, Copper Street. Hang Ma, paper offerings. Hang Tiek, tin. Hang Vai, cloth. The tube houses are 2 to 3 meters wide at the front, but stretch 50 or 60 meters deep. Curved roof tiles greened with moss. Wooden doors half open, just enough to watch the street. In the early morning, the smell of pho rises from stockpots that have been simmering through the night. Street vendors move through with heavy shoulder pulls, calling out their offerings, a lilting, rising, falling cadence that Hanoians today still recognize in memory. Children play in front doorways. A silversmith bends over his workbench, a small hammer tapping rhythmically against metal. French soldiers patrol through here 2 or 3 times a day. 2 men, rifles on their shoulders, walking down the center of the street. Shopkeepers keep their heads down, eyes averted. When soldiers pass, the street goes quiet for a few seconds. Then the vendors' calls rise again. The hammering resumes. The children laugh again. Life goes on. This is how Hanoians have always survived. Dong Xuan Market in 1885 is still a traditional market of wooden stalls under woven bamboo roofing. The French will not rebuild it in brick until 1889. But the crowd is still thick, still loud. Eggs stacked in pyramids. Ha Dong silk spread out for display. Fresh fish from Westlake, still cool with the lake's water. The old quarter in 1885 does not collapse. It folds inward, compresses, and keeps beating. In 1885, Hanoi was a city of 2 worlds, and neither world was ready to disappear. The French brought maps, concrete, and wide boulevards. The Vietnamese kept their streets, their street cries, and their memory. Both together wrote a city that was complicated, painful, and astonishing. If you were here in 1885, what would you have been? The silversmith in the old quarter, head down at work, waiting? The soldier on the flag tower, looking down at a city that wasn't his? Or the person standing at the lakeshore in the morning, watching Turtle Tower slowly take shape on the sacred islet, not yet knowing what it meant? History has no easy answers, only people, choices, and time. Which city do you want me to reconstruct next? Leave the city name and the era you want to explore in the comments below. If this journey was worth something to you, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We have many more places to visit and many more centuries to step into. See you in the next world.